The folks at eFoods Direct have saved you from the huge price increases on food by buying raw materials ahead and packing your supplies themselves. They haven't increased their prices on great long-term food reserves since last year. With the rising cost of raw materials and gas prices, they can't hold off any longer. As of July 1st, eFoods Direct is forced to increase their prices so they can still ship you the best storable food on the planet. Until the end of June, you can lock in the cost of your food at last year's prices by calling 800-409-5633. Your time is running out to build your supply with the best food on the planet at last year's prices with eFoods Direct. Call 800-409-5633. Prices go up at the end of June. Go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex. Call 800-409-5633 or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal-Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com.
You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Words, Mr. Wordsworth, that have no substance and no dimension, like air, like the wind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins to make you think you have a strength when you have no strength at all. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Central, we're here live. You know, I mourn every day for humanity. I mourn for the fact that already much of the genetic history of this planet has been irreparably destroyed and ruined by design by the global social engineers and genetic engineers. And, you know, I read this article that is titled Genetic Modification Gone Wild. 10 signs that our world may be destined to resemble a really bad science fiction movie. It already resembles it. But the public on average spends now around 6 hours a day in a lower brain state. when you're watching television. It brings you into a lower brain state. Major universities for more than 60 years, nonstop, do studies of how to flicker the rate and how to put information embedded in the transmission to manipulate your mind. You can read the studies, but I've been given internal tours that I wasn't even supposed to get of the University of Texas Psychology Department. Monkeys by the thousands in cages, by the hundreds strapped in with their eyes wired open, watching flicker rates on television sets and commercials, all engineered to assault you viciously, all DARPA funded. I saw that 10 years ago. I'm not going to even get into it. That is right down the street from here. And I was able to see the monkeys by remote control out at Bastrop. I was watching them from cameras. The scientists sit in there. You go to the next DARPA-funded room. It's pornography and how to confuse gender through messages on television. Department of Defense. I'm taken to the next room. Every room, DARPA, 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 being shown this. Of course, they'll try to reverse engineer who showed it to me. Doesn't matter. I didn't talk about it till years and years after, so they'll have trouble tracking it. But the point is that you can go research all this for yourself. They have spent trillions, and they write white papers and bragging about it, about how to control and manipulate you. The Google NSA data gathering system is designed to predict the future, and it's able to do it. Individually, they say, as of last year, 93% of the time, 99% of the time, they can predict major mass movements. And as they get more data fed in to this system, which was always their goal, Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, written in, what, the 40s, is about that? And the rules of robotics. What man envisioned has now become real. And that's why they're so arrogant. That's why they don't care. I'm going to explain this again to you. Your food, your water. You just think they stop with fluoride, that 7-fold increase in cancer in the bones? You think they just stop with bisphenol A and almost all the plastic and the printer ink that you touch and then reduces your fertility? That's all old tech. 60 years. Everywhere where there's rebellious people, the United States, Ireland, the Basque, in Spain. Those were chemical weapon programs developed in the 20s and 30s on record. On record. Do you know what they're doing with the rice and the corn and the wheat and the soybeans? Continuing here. Notice I'm spending more and more time on this because I realize everything else is now a side issue. You've got to realize most of this is a distraction, a diversion, a false construct. We have a breakaway technocratic civilization in the universities, in the government, under national security, doing whatever they want. And only by compartmentalized people in the system waking up and going, wow, how does this guy know all of this? See, I'm pointing out things you already know but never connected, and then begging you to go read the white papers while they're still public, before they bring in the Borg centralized censored web, which they're openly calling for. But Japan isn't the only one doing this kind of research. In Missouri, universities are engineering, part pig and part human, are being grown with the goal of providing organs for human transplants. Always sounds great. Number 8, scientists at Rockefeller University have injected human genes into mice. These humanized mice are being used to study the spread of hepatitis C, you're told. U.S. scientists have discovered that they can actually grow new human organs from scratch. The following is a quote from the recent Newsweek article. It goes on. And in Japan, they're coming out with feces that is then transmutated into meat. Folks won't believe that. Type in Japan, feces to meat. We'll show folks the article. Here's another one. Believe it or not, a company in Canada known as Nexia has actually taken goats and genetically modified them to part spider. 19 years ago, this was made public that it was going on a decade before by the Pentagon. They then just privatized the gene sequencing. And last time I checked, there were 5 companies doing it in the U.S. alone. And what was it, 15 years ago, I had the CEO on bragging about how they have these goats released in the open. And when you zoologically cross animals, it causes major problems. Diseases in insects can then get into mammals. Yeah, let's put that back on screen for folks because I want to read the headline for radio listeners. Japan's scientist synthesizes meat from human feces. There you go. They hope to bring it on the market for you and your family. And it goes on, as frightening as all of these examples may sound, I think this is all ancient news, the truth is genetic modification of plants has gone even further. Yeah, some crops have over 100 insect, plant, and human genes in them. A decade ago, they had pharmacological crops growing live HIV. This is all being done. Today, approximately 93% of all soybeans and approximately 80% of all corn in the United States, and that's a low number, have been genetically modified. No. Almost 100% of all corn varieties worldwide, including 10,000-year-old corn varieties in Mexico, are now contaminated. They're gone. They're dead. It's over. But don't worry. They're going to tax that carbon dioxide you're exhaling. And they're going to raise the radiation levels of what's safe. Everything's fine. They're going to tax what plants respirate from and then put off oxygen for us. Now, they couldn't come out and tax oxygen because even the dumbest people know that's good. So carbon dioxide sounds like monoxide, just like you can go out and get most people to sign a form calling for banning dihydrogen monoxide. Do you know what dihydrogen monoxide is? It's water. Most people will sign forms, and the studies have been done. Over 90% will sign forms to ban sodium chloride. Sounds scary. Do you know what sodium chloride is? Sodium chloride is salt. Let's worry about salt. Let's worry about water. Let's worry about carbon dioxide. But let's splice everything and release it open air. Let's do it. Let's have the system openly write white papers on it in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I've got UN biological diversity assessments where they state, well, the 96 one, they said we need to encourage war, famine, we need to cut off resources to reduce population, and we need to encourage homosexuality. Now, see, this isn't a moral statement for me. Let's get that out of the way. With everybody's fetish of obsessing on this. I obsess on the stars and genetics and flowers and beauty and green grass and streams and okay, I'm not all upset and you know, freaked out and everything's bombarded with this stuff constantly. I'm above it. I'm above your silly paradigms. You know, and all the latent gay people that obsess and bash gay people all day. I'm not talking about that group either. I'm talking about you having what you are as a ancient genetic expression of this beautiful planet being manipulated in the embryonic phase and after. So that you won't have children, so there won't be a family unit that tribally defend each other, so there's no opposition to the global hive Borg. And the end of our species that has been stated, this is the end of us, the end of humanity, the end of humankind, the end of it all. The end of it. The globalists are psychopaths. They are sadists. They love war and death and ugliness. You read the New York Times and other reports about art. The hottest art for 2 decades now is buckets of pus, photos of dead babies, skulls. They'll, as a tithe, the Fortune 100 and others, and the top bankers who buys this stuff in the news will come in and pay $37 million for a bucket of pus with maggots in it. To worship it. It is a tithe. It is taking stuff they stole from families and people they destroyed and old people they robbed and buying a jar of pus with maggots. It is a worship of it. It is a conjuring of dark energies Why do you think Lady Gaga and the rappers, it's all about psychopath, killing your husband, killing your wife, kidnapping children, murder? Lady Gaga is going to have a concert with executed, this is in the news, executed Chinese dissidents sliced open in big vats of